Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I'm Ruby the reindeer.
And I'm Whippetube.
And this is not the board of the day.
This is Board of the Day, episode 3,
What?
but it is a board
What?
game review.
You are silly. It's not board of the day. It can't be because...
Well, I named it in the recording Board of the Day number 3.
Well, it doesn't matter because there's no board.
Well, yes, but Dominion
Oh, we're
doesn't. But Dominion doesn't have a board either.
Well, that's quite right. Anyway...
Should we do something? We were supposed to do an under 20-minute video this time, and we're just lengthening the intro.
Today we're talking about Barking Kittens, which is an
This one.
expansion.
To Exploding Kittens.
Now, in the Barking Kittens, you need to have the basic game in order to play. But Barking Kittens is a completely new and just released expansion to the Exploding Kittens. And since we've got the Barking Kittens and the Exploding Kittens, we thought we were going to do a nice little video for you about it.
Yes. Let's tell them how to play. That's the box.
And there's the other box.
And that's the other box. And
Okay,
the other
so-
box. Okay, anyway.
So for Exploding Kittens, it is a card game where you can have between 2 and about 10 people.
Yes. I think 10.
10. We have a party pack,
Yes.
which allows for up to 10 people to be joining the game. Now, it is a card game, and it's kind of like an elimination game where whoever gets the Exploding Kitten dies.
So it's basically the last one standing.
Exploding Kittens is a fun game, and it's a party game, and it's quite easy to learn because all the cards, oh dear, all the cards explain themselves, so you don't really need to explain yourself and listen to long-winded ideas on how to play the game. The game goes as such: you have some cards in your hand to begin with, and your turn.
7 to be exact.
Yes, on your turn, you pick one card from the table. There's a draw deck that you pick one card from, and that is the end of your turn. Now you also have some cards in your hand, 7 to be exact, and out of those 7 cards you might want to play some. Now, theoretics are claiming that it's a good idea to collect as many cards in your hand as possible and then use them only when you need to use them, so that you can in later times of the game defeat the Exploding Kitten if it happens to come to you. When you begin the game, you calculate how many people are going to be playing. Say there's 9 people playing the game together. You put 8 Exploding Kittens in the deck, so everybody else is going to die, explode with the kitten, apart from one who's
Yes.
the last man standing. And the Exploding Kitten looks like this.
Yes.
Now, when you pick up this card, you either explode and you're out of the game, but there's one card that can defeat the Exploding Kitten, and that is the Diffuse card. Everybody who's playing the game, say we're playing with 9 people, all of the 9 people are going to have one Diffuse card, which is the green one, one Diffuse card in their hand when they start the game. So there's a one-off chance for you to avoid the Exploding Kitten before you die.
Except that there's one more defuse in the deck because there's not 10 people. But
Now,
yeah.
at the end of your turn, you mark up your end of turn by picking one card from the deck that you have in the middle of you on the table, and that is the end of your turn. Whatever you get is either staying in your hand, or if it is the Exploding Kitten, then you have to place it on the table and show everybody that you've just died.
Yes.
Unless you have the diffuse, in which case you can draw the diffuse from your hand and show that, and then you can place with the diffuse card you can place the Exploding Kitten card back into the deck for somebody else to find.
Oh yes, and this is also a part of the game. but we'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's all these different types of cards.
All of these different types of cards.
And the cards are very self-explanatory, but there are different types of cats. For example, hairy potato cat, the catermelon, the beard cat, and then there's a feral cat. Feral cats are the pink cards. A feral cat is a lonely and confused cat and wants to be joining other cats. So you can not use the feral cat on its own, but you have to use it with another.
You can also use 2 feral cats together.
Yes. What you can do with those cats is that they act as a kind of unison. You can put away into the discard pile 2 cats of the same kind. Say you had 2 rainbow Ralphing cats in your hand, and you play those 2 into the discard pile, and then you can pick up 1 card from somebody around you, a random card. If you have 3 of the same kind, say you have 3 hairy potato cats in your hand and you choose to play those, you get to name a card that the other person needs to give you in case they have that card. Say I would be playing 3 feral cats and say, can you please give me your diffuse card?
Yes.
And then if he has a diffuse card, then he has to give it to you, and there's no lying in this game. Nice one.
So there are some cards which say do something to the future. There's see the future, share the future, and alter the future. Now share the future came with the new expansion, but alter the future is a party pack, not exclusive, but it comes in the party pack, and then see the future is just a normal Exploding Kitten. Yes. Which with see the future you can privately view the top 3 cards of the deck and put them back. Very simple for finding out if somebody, if there's an Exploding Kitten on top of the deck or something like that. Share the future allows you to view and then rearrange the top 3 cards of the deck and then show them to the next player who is in play after you. And alter the future just takes out from the last card the fact that you need to show the card, so you basically just alter you rearrange the top 3 cards of the deck if there's an Exploding Kitten, for example, on top of it. Yes.
Now there's other types of cards also. Some of these will skip your turn if you know that there's an Exploding Kitten next for you to pick up and you can't do anything else. You can always skip your turn with your skip card. Those are all blue ones. There's also a super skip in the Barking Kittens expansion where you can skip many turns if you happen to be, for example, attacked.
The attack allows you to attack. Big brain.
Hooray! That's interesting.
The attack basically, what it does is it ends your turn and you don't need to draw a card, so it acts as a skip. And then the next player after you needs to go and basically do 2 turns, so draw 2 cards. Unless they have an attack to go against it, and so then the next player after them gets 4 turns, so 2 more to the attacks that there were already. And then it can go around the table, somebody can have 12 turns to do, which is not the most nicest thing. Kind of one thing that goes in the same exact thing with the future cards is a personal attack as well, which allows you to take 3 turns on the same turn. So basically you might want to see the future and then play a personal attack and grab 3 cards from on top of the deck if there's no Exploding Kitten, and so then you get a lot of cards.
The personal attack card is a part of the Barking Kittens expansion, yes. So that doesn't come in the basic game. Attack cards do. If you are attacked, you can either draw the amount of cards that you need to, or place the other attack card from your hand if you happen to have one, and skip the turn. Or if you happen to have a nope card, you can nope the action that has just been done to you. This doesn't nope everything that's happened before you, but it nopes the
card that just happened before
the
you.
card that just happened.
So it might be like somebody attacks, and then you place a nope, and then they place a nope, and then you place a nope, and then somebody else from around the table places another nope, and then it might be just a nope battle of does the card get up there or not.
Now, usually, the cards that you play, you can only play on your turn, unless it's the question of a nope card. A nope card can be played
Whenever.
On anybody else's turn. Say we're playing with 9 people and somebody from across the table has just played an attack card on the person next to them. I can nope that action if I have a nope card.
If you would want to do that.
If for some reason you would choose to do that. Now,
yeah.
you can. With a shuffle card, you can shuffle the deck.
Wow!
Whoa! If in case you know where the exploding kitten is, and you, for example, know that at the beginning of your turn the exploding kitten is right on top of the deck, shuffle is a good idea to place in
yes.
that case, so that you don't get the exploding kitten, hopefully.
Yes.
Maybe.
I mean, whatever can happen.
Or
you can draw from the bottom. Not from the bottom, but from the bottom of the deck. And yeah, that basically allows you to draw from the bottom a card, for example, if you are quite certain or completely certain that the exploding kitten is coming right up, and then you can draw from the bottom and get something else. Which is nice.
Now, in the beginning of the video we talked about the cat cards, the catamelons and the bearded cats and the potato cats and the rainbow cats, where you can draw cards from another person. There is another card which is called Favor, where you can play on your turn, and then you can ask somebody to give you a card with that if you don't happen to have lots of kitties in your hand.
Yes.
And now we get to the cards that come with the Barking Kittens expansion.
Not extension.
Not extension.
Expansion.
Expansion. Now, can you talk about this one?
Yes. So berry is actually a kind of a
Diffuse.
precautionary defuse. So if you know that an exploding kitten is coming up, or if you just for some odd reason want to do this, then you can actually end your turn by secretly putting the next card that you take from the deck back somewhere into the deck. So it works the same way as a defuse card, but you just need to know to play it before you get the exploding kitten. Very, very useful card though.
Definitely useful. There's also the I'll take that card, which you can steal cards from another person on their turn. So if I would play the I'll take that card in front of Whiptube, the next card that he picks up comes to me, which is a nice thing, unless they pick up the exploding kitten.
Yeah, and that's kind of also a way to trick the exploding kitten on top of the deck, and then they take that, and then they're done.
Yeah.
Now the next one is kind of, well, I don't really know. For me, it's a little bit of a weird card.
I have a sneaking suspicion we've only played the Barking Kittens between the two of us. I have a sneaking suspicion the potluck card is going to work with when there's a lot of people there.
Yes.
It doesn't really work with 2 people. It doesn't really make any difference with 2 people. But
yes.
Hey.
So starting with you and going in the direction of play around the table, each player puts 1 card on top of the deck. So basically in a 2-player game, you would place 1 card and another card, and then...
No, the other player places another card.
Well, yes, but basically you... Eventually the situation when drawing a card will be that the other person's card comes to you and your card comes to the other person.
Yes, if there's just the two of you playing.
Yes.
Which is kind of silly. But I suppose it works when there's 9 people or 10 people playing, and
Yes.
then there's 10 people on top of the deck, and because people can't have Exploding Kittens on their hand, then there's going to be 10. If there's 10 people playing, there's going to be 10 cards that are safe cards.
Somewhat safe.
Somewhat safe cards.
Then,
Now,
let's talk about this last. Then
okay.
you've got a kind of a double card set. So these are the only ones of these cards that there are in the game, and they're Barking Kittens. That's hence the name of the expansion. So this is a kind of a funky mechanic. So when you play it, if someone has a Barking Kitten, then they give you half their cards, and then you give the same amount back to that player. If nobody has a Barking Kitten in their hand, though, you just leave it on the table in front of you, and then anybody who gets a Barking Kitten can play it and then switch the cards with you. So it's kind of a you need to know. Or it's quite good also in the end of the game, if you still have quite a lot of cards, you know most likely that there is a Barking Kitten in their hand, then you can play it. But then, this card is what gives a little bit of a change to that, because with this card, you put this thing in your head.
Yes, at the beginning of the game, if you're playing with the Barking Kittens expansion, you take away 8 cards from the top of the deck, and you place them
In here.
in that hat. Now the hat stays on the table unless somebody plays the Tower of Power card, in which case, once Whippertube has played the Tower of Power on the table on his turn, he gets to place the hat on his head and place the 8 cards into the hat.
Yes.
Now, they can be diffuse cards there, they can be any kinds of cards. They can also be Exploding Kitten cards.
No.
No,
They
that's
can't.
true. They can't be, because the Exploding Kittens are added to the deck just before you start the game.
The Exploding
so-
Kittens and Tower of Power
Yes,
and the defusers are removed from the deck.
they should be.
Yes.
We didn't always.
And
Okay.
we've also forgotten to put them in the hat, and then it's been kind of a gamble of is there going to be an Exploding Kitten or some other illegal card in there.
Yes, but so the way it works is that the cards are not going to stay in the head for a long time, but they act as a kind of safeguard. You are not going to lose, if you have the hat on, you're not going to lose any cards from your hand. If somebody plays kitty cards, or if somebody plays a favor card and you need to give them a card from your hand, you instead offer them the hat. Ooh, and they can pick up one card from the insides of your I do what I want hat.
Yes. And there is also an action that you can do if you want to get your shield off. Then you can also take the hat off, take all the cards from the hat, and grab one of them to you, and put the rest of the cards on top of the deck.
But there is only one Tower of Power card in the deck, so only one person can use that on their heads.
Yes.
And if they decide to take the hat off,
Per
it's
game.
going to stay on the table for the rest of the game, so only one person can use that. Now, we love playing Exploding Kittens, and I think we quite love playing with the new expansion too,
Yeah.
because it gives, first of all, it gives plenty of more cards. Gives plenty of more cards to play with, so the play goes on for longer.
Yes. One thing that I might say about it is that the other decks, the other expansions, have seemed a little bit more interesting, because this only basically adds cards and this thing, and it doesn't add any kind of new cool element to it. It's just like, for me, it's kind of just like things that should have been in the game from the start.
Or things just kind of deepen the effects of
Yes.
the base game, but they don't bring anything spectacularly new
Yes.
into the game. But hey ho, it is a nice game all the same. It's an easy game. The only thing that is kind of a tiny bit of a downside with the game is that because all the cards explain themselves and all the cards are in English, if you are playing with young people and if you're playing with people who can't read, if you play with people who can't speak English, it's going to be a tough game because they won't know what they're doing. We've played this game quite a lot of times with people who don't speak English, and we've played with people who can't read, like young kids, and we've teamed them up with adults so that and English-speaking people so that they can kind of whisper about themselves and decide which cards they're going to use next.
Also, I must say that this thing could have been a little bit more better made.
The quality.
Like this.
Yes.
It's a little bit like you place it on the head and you pull it too much from somewhere and then it goes broken. So you need to be quite careful with the hat. Otherwise, it's quite a cool game. Though a game of chance, so we don't really play with the name and stada too much.
Yes,
But
a total game of chance. There's no way of knowing who is going to win and who is going to lose, and there's no way of knowing how long it's going to last. Sometimes it lasts for 5 minutes, and sometimes it lasts a bit longer. But it's a short game, so it's nice for those kind of. It's a nice in-between game between tougher, longer, hardcore board games, and it's also a nice party game where you don't have to be so serious and you don't have to be a serious board gamer in order to enjoy that. And because the cards are quite self-explanatory, they explain themselves, it's easy to play and you don't need to sit for 15 minutes and listen to somebody talk about the rules of the game.
Yes. And I think it's like great because you can like pretty much grab anybody who can speak English off the street and play with them.
Yes.
It's a really simple game. As it says in the box, 2 minutes to learn, 15 minutes to play. That's what it says on the box. I think the 2 minutes to learn is quite accurate, but the 15 minutes to play is a little bit, well... it's a little bit, well, might be either way.
Now, points. We need to give this one
Oh
points.
yes, we didn't give, on the last episode, we didn't give any points.
Did we not?
No.
Oh dear. Well, out of 20 points, if 20 points would be the absolutely best game in the universe...
For this expansion or for the whole entire game.
Hold on, and 0 points is never, ever, ever, ever touch this game again.
Stupidly idiotic.
Stupidly idiotic.
But
How many points would you give? First of all, how many points would you give the basic game, Exploding Kittens?
Exploding Kittens by itself, maybe 15, because I just like more kind of rain intensive games. I don't really like, for me this is kind of a, you can play it, but then after that I'd really want to play like Catan or Dominion or something like that.
Something intelligent.
Something more intelligent.
Yes, intelligence is quite far away from this game. It's a silly game, but it's a fun game. Exploding Kittens, well, we have a party pack, which means that it's got a couple of extra cards from just the ordinary everyday game, and it's got plenty of cards so that you can add basic cards into the game if you want to play on for longer. I would give this one 14. It's a mindless game. It's a fun and quirky, and it makes you laugh, and it's an easy game to play, and it's a kind of a starter game, good game for people who don't really care much about board games. 14, fun and simple, but not exactly the most intelligent one. How about
Barking Kittens.
the Barking Kittens expansion?
Quality wise, a little bit of points down for the hat, maybe a half. but I think it gives the game a lot more. So I think it is an 18.5.
That's quite a good game.
I think like just for what the expansion brings and what the game is after the expansion,
Mm.
because it gives it a lot more sense.
Yes.
But I would still play something else instead of that if I would have the time,
Mm.
or if I would have the brain.
I'd say with the Barking Kittens expansion, I'd give this, if I gave the ordinary pack, the party pack, 14 points, I would give this one 16. It makes it more fun and it makes it more interesting, and there's a couple of kind of logistic things that it adds, and it is a fun thing to do, and the hat is quite nice. I like the hat. They could have made the hat from, I don't know, from plastic or something that's a bit more durable.
Fabric.
Fabric hat, why not?
Or like, you know, like a sturdy fabric hat.
Mm.
That it would be similar to this, but just not like this.
Now, last one. What is your favorite card?
The Tower of Power. This time not an attack. I was thinking of an attack, but I think the Tower of Power.
Mm.
Because
I
it's a
like
cool.
the personal attack. This is wonderful. If you use this personal attack card together with or after using see the future or alter the future card, or even the share the future card, you on your turn see the next 3 cards, and if they are good enough cards, then you can place a personal attack and pick up all 3 of them.
And I think the Share the Future is actually one of the best cards to use it on, because the opponent is going to be seeing the future, just the cards they will be taking.
Mm.
So it's like, it's no news for the next person.
Mm. That's true. Kind of takes a bit of the
Yeah.
surprise element away.
Yeah. And then the other ones are good for kind of deck control and seeing what's inside of the deck privately.
Mm. Yeah. Barking Kittens, 18 and a half points
Yes.
and 16 points out of 20. Not a bad game. It's a good game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good fun to learn. Easy thing. And you can share it with quite a lot of people, especially if you have a party pack. Now, let's see if we can get this thing published.
Yes. In less
They
than a
can't
half a
see
year.
that. You need to bring it here. This is Whipper Dog. Can you see that? I think they can see
Yes,
that.
you can see it from our channel's profile picture.
This is Whipper Dog. And here we have Rudolph the Gaming Pugsy.
Red-nosed gaming.
Red-nosed something. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Pugsy, or the Gaming Pugsy. And these dudes you can see in our next video. What shall we do next? Now we've done a couple of Dominions and then some Exploding Kittens. What's going to be next? Comment down below. And then you can also do the ordinary things like this video and then subscribe and all these ding dong.
Yes, but like we don't need to tell
Things.
them, because they know what to do.
I know that
They're
they're intelligent people.
Yes.
Anyways, happy times. We'll see you in the next episode.
Yes, we will.
Come on,
Hope
Mike.
for-
Damn you.
Quack, damn you. Possibly even not next year.
Maybe not. But
Maybe this year.